Let's talk about Dubai. Okay. Listen, Sky Squad, we are back in the building. I'm struggling, baby. I am struggling. My allergies are killing me, and I know y'all be sick and tired of me talking about my allergies, but I'm sick and tired of them too. Okay. For whatever reason, I got the sneezes today, and I had to take another dose of Benadryl. So we're gonna work our way through it because I'll be determined to do my job. Okay. Now, we are on episode 6 of Dubai, okay? Dubai. And, some things are heating up. Last week, I talked to you guys about how I felt like Sarah felt very disconnected from the group to me. So it was nice to see her integrate a little more into the group outside of just what we have seen her with regards to Nina, because typically we see her filming with Nina or by herself with her family. So this was nice to get a little bit more of her into the mix. Now, we also had a confrontation with LESA Milan and Caroline Stanbury that we'll talk about. But we also had a huge confrontation with Caroline Brooks and Sarah Al Madani. Now, for me, I'm going to give this episode, I'm going to give it a solid 8. I do feel like I'm learning new things about the women, but to me, the show feels like it's kind of a slow yet fabulous burn. Okay. So and I think the problem is that ideally I would place Dubai on first and then Beverly Hills on second. But that's me from a reviewer's perspective because my emotions and my feelings are typically tied to Beverly Hills because there's more history there and there's more people that are problematic and getting on my nerves on that show. With Dubai, again, I'm coming in fresh. It's similar to having Love and Marriage DC come on after Love and Marriage Huntsville. You have an explosive episode at 8, and then you have characters that we're still getting to know on at 9, and I'm a little tired from all of the shenanigans that happened on the 8 o'clock episode. By 9 o'clock, I'm tired. Okay. So there's that I think is also a bit of a concern. And I kind of wish and I hope that for next season, they just put it on its own night. I do understand that they like to have a lead in because it makes sense programming wise. But for a viewer, I think, and especially for me as a reviewer, it is exhausting. And so I just kind of feel like I want that to change because these are some fabulous ladies in and of themselves. And so I'm interested, I'm invested. I love some of these ladies, but I just wish that it came on a different day and time, to be quite honest with you. Ain't nothing on Tuesdays. Meanwhile, this episode, again, I gave it an 8 because we finally got Sarah. I think I said an 8, but we got Sarah integrating into the group a bit more. We had some confrontations, some resolve, more fabulosity from Ayan. Whenever Ayan is on the screen, I am thoroughly entertained. I don't even know sometimes that she needs to say anything, but as long as she appears in some feathers, a wig, gloves, no matter what the occasion, we got a Ponderosa that I'm happy about. Okay. So this episode is heavily centered on Brooks and her parenting. And her really trying to determine whether or not she wants to send her kid to boarding school. Because I think similar to a lot of parents, I think a lot of parents want to give their child something better than what they had. I'm not necessarily clued into Caroline's schooling and education, but if there's an opportunity for advanced learning for her child in Switzerland and she's able to afford it, listen, They make them in your size when you got the coin. I ain't mad at it, okay? But based on what we learned from Caroline Stanbury, who I think is proving to be a bit more interesting as the episodes go along, because in the earlier episodes, I felt like Caroline wasn't giving us the old Caroline Stanbury from Ladies of London that I needed, okay? But in this, I feel like now we're getting a bit more of Caroline Stanbury, and I feel like it's more apparent why she, you know, was able to go from one franchise to another. And it is more interesting to see how it is that when she left Ladies of London, she became an influencer and an ambassador for a lot of different things in Dubai. But beyond that, we start off the show with Brooks and Ayan going furniture shopping. Ayan comes into the scene looking like Lil' Kim from the Crush on You video. I don't know. Y'all tell me, was it yellow or did she have on lime green? Okay. I don't know what it was, but to be going furniture shopping, it was over the top. It was fabulous, totally inappropriate for the occasion, but so totally on brand for Ayan, and I love it. Okay. I don't know what she's going to do from scene to scene, but I know every time she shows up, I'm expecting something fabulous, and I gets it. I wish she had a YouTube page, because to be quite honest with you, I would follow her around just to see her getting ready and doing her fashions. I would. um, let's see here. Um, Again, already I wrote there's a heavy focus on Brooke's relationship with her son and her parenting. Brooks invites Ayan to a beach day, and she has some friends into town that are coming, along, that she wants the girls to meet. We learn that Caroline's parents have arrived, and they're going to be staying at one of the hotels that she's an ambassador for. And I'm going back to Dubai this year. So I was like, the raffles, is that what it's called? We look up raffles, and baby, let me tell y'all something. Them rooms was about $180 something per night, okay? But don't look on a holiday, because they'll shoot up to 700. Meanwhile, the place is massive. It looks great. We get more on her background and why she comes across so icy, because she's alluded to it in a previous episode about boarding school being such a challenge for her, and how much she missed her family, but how much it became a situation where she had to put up her own walls to sort of maneuver her way through it. And it again informs a lot about her own personality as we get to know more about her. Over to Nina's apartment, Lisa arrives, then Stanbury arrives, then Chanel arrives, and Chanel arrives. Ayan just comes on in a blonde wig and some feathers, and I'm like, I love it. I absolutely love it. Nina then gets the party started by bringing up the argument with Sergio from Ayan's birthday party, and Caroline just lets her know, listen, I am going to be sitting with my in-laws and my family during one of the wedding events. I don't want to sit with them for both of them. I want to be with my friends, okay? But I don't know. I feel like there's a way you can do it. It's your wedding, ultimately. So there's a way you can do it where you're seated with your family, but your friends are nearby. And the eating portion of an event is usually not that long. If it's a reception, usually everybody is up and milling about and dancing anyway. So to me, I don't understand what the big deal is, but whatever. Ayan reveals yet again that she was supposed to marry her cousin. Then Ayan gets right into it. She wants to let the ladies know that she and Lisa are not a package deal. They have their own feelings, their own thoughts. And Caroline goes and she gets right into it and says, you know what, guys, I might have been drunk and intoxicated. And Lisa says, yeah, what you said to me was trashy. But Caroline chalks it up to being drunk because she was drinking before she got there. She was drinking while she was there. And I said it in my review. I felt like she was knocking them back. Okay. And she chalks it up to that British humor. British humor has gotten women on reality TV, especially housewives shows, into a lot of trouble. So this is a common theme that we're seeing here. Nothing wrong with the Brits, because I love a good British accent. I could listen to somebody talk who is from London or the UK talk for hours on end. It's just amazing and fascinating to me. Anyway, Lisa lets her know that, you know what, despite what everyone is saying about you all around town behind your back that you don't know about, I actually really liked you. And Caroline is like, well, girl, that's passive aggressive. I mean, for real. And people have been talking. We got this from Nina. We've gotten this, I think, from Ayan. I almost feel like we've gotten it from Brooks, and I'm like, what are these people saying about Caroline Stanbury? I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, all I know about her was from Ladies of London, and she was the star of that show. So to me, I don't know what the people are saying. Maybe they're saying that she's not so nice. I don't know. Sarah has an event at the Global Citizen Forum, and basically Ayan comes, in her and she brings her husband along, but she spends some time with Sarah alone first. And Sarah goes into a lot of, this is who I am, and this is how I got to be so positive. And excuse me, y'all. I couldn't hold that one in. She goes into, it takes a lot to be a person like me. And Ayan is like, no, wait a minute now. Hold up now. I ain't ask you for all that. I got issues with my father, and I've been seeing this counselor that told me to go water my plants, but I ain't got no real plants, so I'm watering the fake ones. Okay, as you see here. Okay, I'm watering the fake ones. So for me, I'm doing the work. But Sarah is adamant that she go see a hypnotherapist. So she can be more positive, like Sarah. Okay. And Ayana's like, listen, girl, in her confessional, she says, if she don't stop all this preaching to me, and I can tell you that I think that Sarah has the best of intentions, but she does come across just a little bit like holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? I am the epitome of positivity, and you could learn a lot from someone like me. Okay. It does take a lot to be like me, It's taken a lot of therapy and hard work, but I've done the work, and I have overcome. And I know that by doing the work that I've done, you can overcome as well. Okay? All rise, close your eyes, pretend that you're me. That's pretty much how the event goes. Meanwhile, down to the Cove Beach, Brooks arrived with her two friends, Adam and Brian. Okay. I think they're brothers, but they from Boston. I think they are also of the gay. Okay. Nina arrives ready for a pina colada, and Lisa arrives next. The ladies, all in their confessional, talk about how progressive Dubai is and attempt to dispel myths about gays being accepted in Dubai. Now, here's the thing. During this show, I've definitely seen quite a plethora of the gays. During the lives with some of the ladies, I have seen a plethora of the gays. And so to me, I don't think it's far from the realm of possibility that the gays would be there. But as Caroline stated, the gays can't be running around holding hands and kissing and frolicking or whatever they want to do like they can in the United States of the Americas. So I feel like because there's still a lack of freedom there, that is what people have issue with. And I just got to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I think that what they are trying to say is that Dubai is a progressive space. And when you have a country that is what they say 85% or 80%, expats, meaning people have moved there from other countries, then you have no other choice but to have a progressive state of mind, to be quite honest with you. Um, so I don't know. That's interesting to me because a lot of people have had issues with this show simply because of what they have heard about, the treatment of, people of the gay. Okay. Meanwhile, Ayan recaps the event that she went to with Sarah to Lisa, and they basically come to the conclusion that what Lisa does, that Sarah is judgy and being judgmental. Okay. Meanwhile, we learned that Nina's dad is suffering due to the pandemic all the way in the States. She feels guilty for not being able to be there with him because she all the way over in the Dubai, and she refuses to leave her kids, but she don't want to bring her kids because she don't want to expose them to the panorama. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, are they in a box? Because ultimately, you don't want to take the kids around somebody who's is sick. But still, I mean, the panorama runs rampant everywhere, to be honest with you. So I get her dilemma. And it is a hard thing to deal with because, for me, I remember I had it and I was supposed to be at home for something major, a major family event, and I could not go home. And I just felt like such a failure because I'm thinking to myself, at the time, I'm like, I hadn't gone anywhere but to the gym and to the grocery store and to the home goods. And I feel like it happened at Home Goods because that was the one place that was out of the ordinary that I had been. But you know how you get an inkling that Home Goods might have something that you want that day because Home Goods always got something random there, and you can find the best little buys there. I feel like I encountered it at the Home Goods from somebody. That's why I feel like, to be honest with you, in my spirits, that's what my spirits is telling me. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So then some of Ayan's friends arrived. Now I don't know if they are from the gay or not of the gay, but I don't know. But it did seem like they might have been of the gay. And if they are not, please forgive me, young gentlemen. Please forgive me. But anyway, it's a whole Ponderosa with a whole bunch of people. And so as Sarah can't make it because she's off saving the nation in some place, some other city or whatever. Um, so Brooks is texting her son, and then she tells the small group that she's with that she's going to be sending him to boarding school in 2 years, but he don't know that yet. So Caroline Stanbury says she was traumatized from boarding school and to prepare him, but she does stop short of telling Brooks how to parent him. Over with the other group, Ayan feels like there's some bad energy between she and Nina is like, girl, I don't have time to deal with your issues. My daddy is, going through it with the panorama. I'm trying to be there for him, and you coming at me with these issues about something that I don't really know or care about at this moment. And she breaks down and cries. Okay. So Sergio ends up going over to find out what's going on with them, but the conversation kind of dissipates. So Caroline Stanbury and her daughter Yasmin meet up with her father for dinner. She's nervous about all the in-laws meeting and that, the memory of Sergio's dad, trying to pay Sergio not to be with her, it still lingers in her mind. Now, we learned that Caroline's parents were okay with the age difference, but her kids were not. But her dad and her daughter will be making speeches at the wedding, okay, because they've come to love the man, okay. And furthermore, well, I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for another time. But anyway, over at Brooke's house, they're preparing for Sarah, and I note that they said that they were at her weekend house. And I'm thinking to myself, can I see Caroline Brooks? Can I see a layout of the weekday house and the weekend house to see how they differ? Because I'm nosy, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to see how fabulous it is. But meanwhile, Brooks's friends, Adam and Brian, I think, are coming for dinner. Now, there seems to be some tension that the camera is picking up around Brooks's son, Adam, kind of being of the housekeeper doing things for her son. And Sarah says that Brooks should be, when it's time to go tuck Brooks in, Adam, her son, in, because she has guests there. She tells the housekeeper or the nanny to, tuck him in. And Sarah's like, you should be tucking him in. So then when Brooks asks about boarding school, Sarah is like, well, I think boarding school is for people who don't have time for their kids. Brooks thinks it can make him better in terms of education. But Sarah asks, well, can I give you some advice? And Brooks does say yes. Sarah says, you need to be closer to your kid. That, the way you speak to him. So I was like, what? Now, based on how she said it in this moment, it sounded like you need to be closer to him, like just closer to him in general. But when she tweeted about it, she says, personally, I don't, and shout out to OMFG Reality TV for catching this, but she says here, I don't believe in boarding school and I believe it builds distance location wise. That's why I said you should be closer with him. She says, I wasn't judging Brooks's way of raising her kid at that time. I never spent with them both to even know anything. So, as you guys can see, beyond the argument they have made up here, but we'll get to that in a second. But back to the argument at hand. Brooks basically says she's tough on her kid because she wants him to be poised. And her friends try to tell her, the ones from Boston try to tell her to be more lenient because, you know, it will make a difference at a certain point in time. And Brooks is like, well, no, I grew up in a very militant way, so I felt like it benefited me. And then Sarah says, well, basically, you're bleeding all over somebody that didn't cut you, meaning that she feels like Brooks is, you know, her son is suffering because of how Brooks was raised. And so they try to tell her that she'll get it when she gets over. Brooks gets mad offended with her friends and she goes all the way off. Now, my general sense is that I was in the moment. I kind of felt bad for the friends because I was like, "Ooh, I mean, she is giving it to," but I don't know. I feel like there's a relationship thing there where they kind of poke at each other based on what she said at Watch What Happens Live. But Sarah, tries to defend the friends, and Brooks then turns her attention to Sarah and tells her there's certain buttons as a parent that you should not push. And they are not going to come in her house and tell her how to raise her kid. Now, my feeling about this is that I think that Brooks opened the door when she said yes to Sarah about giving her some advice. But I also feel like Sarah should have probably known not to judge the situation in any way, shape, or form, mostly because y'all don't really even know each other like that. Based on this, here's what we got, right? So the two of them, are Sarah and Caroline go back and forth about, Sarah having good intentions, how much they love each other. And then Caroline states, Sarah had nothing but good intentions. I know that now. That was my second time ever meeting Sarah, and I didn't feel like it was her place to have an opinion on my relationship with my son when it was her first time meeting him. I guess my only issue with that is, I mean, I've seen them in a couple of scenes together at this point, I think. Once at Caroline Stanbury's house, the other time at Nina's dinner. And I can't remember if it was anyplace else. But maybe I will also give it to her that maybe this was shot out of order. Okay. Because a lot of times, scenes will get shot and they will get put in the episodes, maybe not in an order that they actually occurred, in order to show a theme, which that theme being that Sarah is a bit preachy. Maybe that's the point they were trying to drive home in these episodes. Okay. So, Brooks does go on to explain that, her son is 9 and there were cameras and producers and adults and a lot of people that he didn't know there having dinner. So it was weird for him. And he's really, really shy. Um, she then goes on to say Brian always takes digs like that since we were kids, but he didn't know that kids are off limits. He doesn't know Adam. They only met 3 times Adam's entire life, and Adam didn't have a clue who he was. So my child was like, "Who are these people?" Um, I guess I was wondering, like, I guess maybe if Caroline has been in Dubai for that long, there may have been a lot of instances where she didn't travel with her son, or maybe when they came to visit, they only went out and they didn't hang out, with the kid. Because a lot of times, I mean, a parent will want to leave their kids at home when they are about to go out and hang out with their friends. So that was what I was trying to decipher. But I will say it was nice to see some action happening involving Sarah on the show, because otherwise I was kind of getting the feeling like she was on an island by herself filming her own different show. Okay. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think of this episode of The Real Housewives of Dubai. And if you are enjoying the season, we did see Caroline Brooks and Nina Ali on, I think it's Nina Ali. Nina on Watch What Happens Live last night. And then Phaedra also called in to surprise Caroline Brooks. So make sure you guys let me know your thoughts about this show down in the comment section down below. And I will catch you guys in the next video.